Inside the White House Situation Room, the message from President Donald Trump has been blunt and unmistakable. If the United States strikes Iran, it must be swift, it must be decisive, and it must not become another long, grinding war. In its latest report, NBC News quoted U.S. officials who said Trump has told his national security team that any military action must deliver a definitive blow to the Iranian regime, one that ends the crisis quickly, not one that drags on for weeks or months. But there's a problem. Trump's advisors cannot guarantee that a U.S. strike would cause the Iranian regime to collapse, and there are serious concerns that the United States may not have all the forces and assets in place to counter what officials expect would be a fierce Iranian retaliation. That uncertainty has pushed the administration toward contingency planning. One option under discussion, a limited, targeted strike, at least initially, while leaving the door open to escalation if Tehran responds aggressively. As of Wednesday, no final decision was made. Publicly, Trump has continued to signal resolve. During a visit to Detroit, he told Iranian protesters that help is on its way, describing the situation inside Iran as fragile.
And by the way, to all Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions if possible, and save the name of the killers and the abusers that are abusing you. You're being very badly abused. If the numbers are right, now I hear 5 different sets of numbers. I hear numbers, look, 1 death is too much. But I hear much lower numbers, and then I hear much higher numbers. But I say save their names because they'll pay a very big price. And I've canceled all meetings with the Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. And all I say to them is help is on its way. You saw that I put tariffs on anybody doing business with Iran. Just went into effect today. And I say make Iran great again. You know, it was a great country until these monsters came in and took it over.
Then, in the Oval Office, Trump revealed what he said was new intelligence, that Iranian authorities had stopped killing protesters and halted plans for executions, 2 red lines he had warned could trigger U.S. military action. When asked if military action was now off the table, his answer was cautious. We're going to watch and see what the process is.
Mr. President, on Iran, you said that the killing has stopped. Who told you that the killings have stopped there? And if it's the Iranian regime?
We have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place. There was supposed to be a lot of executions today, and that the executions won't take place. And we're going to find out. I mean, I'll find out after this. You'll find out. But we've been told on good authority, and I hope it's true. Who knows, right? Who knows?
We've seen the body bags, so how do you trust them?
You've seen that over the last few days, and they said people were shooting at them with guns and they were shooting back, and, you know, it's one of those things. But they told me that there'll be no executions, and so I hope that's true.
Does this mean military action is now off the table against Iran?
We're going to watch and see what the process is, but we were given a very good statement by people that are aware of what's going on.
Considering military action,
when they say no executions, everyone is talking about a lot of executions were taking place today. We were just told no executions. I hope that's true. That's a big thing. Yes, but
behind the scenes, however, officials say Trump remains prepared to act. He has repeatedly promised Iranian protesters that the U.S. would intervene militarily if necessary to help topple the regime, and sources say he is ready to follow through. On Tuesday, Trump laid out his objectives to his national security team. The Department of War then tailored military options to meet those goals, with refined plans presented to him this week. All options are at President Trump's disposal, the White House said, pointing to past military operations as proof that he means what he says. Trump also joined a high-level meeting chaired by Vice President J.D. Vance, where he was briefed on the estimated death toll among Iranian protesters and pressed for more details. U.S. Central Command has prepared strike options, but officials remain wary. A weakened Iranian regime, they fear, could lash out unpredictably, targeting U.S. forces or allies like Israel. Precautions are already underway. Hundreds of U.S. troops have been moved from Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar to safer locations, and additional protective measures are being taken across the region. The U.S. has not surged forces for a full-scale war, but aircraft, ships, and personnel are in place, ready for limited strikes if ordered. As Iran trembles and Washington weighs its next move, the question remains, will Trump strike hard and fast or step back from another devastating Middle East war?
Activists say at least 2,000 people have been killed in a crackdown on nationwide protests in Iran. These activists warn that this death toll is likely to rise even higher, making it the most violence that Iran has seen since the years around its 1979 Islamic Revolution. Iranian state television did acknowledge these deaths. They read an official statement that said Iran had offered many martyrs to God without elaborating. But even that acknowledgement just shows just the breadth and the scale of the violence that struck the country. We know this because telephones turned on today in Iran. People with mobile phones were able to call internationally for the first time. Now, the rest of the world can't call into Iran, and the internet remains shut down for the outside world there. And text SMSing, witnesses say, isn't working. They also described a really tense scene on the streets with anti-riot police as well as members of the Revolutionary Guard's all-volunteer besiege force still visible at major intersections. All this comes as U.S. President Donald Trump had threatened to attack Iran if it killed peaceful protesters. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi had been trying to say that he was still in touch with American officials, but Trump today offered a message online which he said help was on the way for Iran without elaborating. That just raises the chances, potentially, of a U.S. strike that could cause more tensions in the Middle East.